Let's start VPN. So we'll be covering CCNP to CCIE level of your VPNs. Our first thing that we are going to discuss about VPN is the theoretical part, and then we'll discuss about the cryptographic method. In a cryptographic method, we'll discuss about the encryption algorithms, hashing algorithms, all those stuff, and also about the key method, how many types of key methods are there. After that, we'll discuss about IKV1 site-to-site on the routers. Then we'll discuss about the site-to-site VPN between the ASA and the routers, and also between the ASA firewall. So this will be different types of the VPNs that we'll be covering initially. After that, you'll have GRE with IPsec. I'm like without IPsec, then with IPsec, and SVTI. It's your static virtual tunnel interface. So here three different types of VPNs are included in a single type. Okay. After that, after a GRE, after a generic routing encapsulation, you'll have MGRE concept. That's your multi-point generic routing encapsulation, like connecting to the multiple sites. And okay, check now. Connecting to the multiple sites. So after MGRE, we'll see that we have DMVPN. Again, DMVPN has a multiple phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Now this all will be in a clear text. Okay. After that, we'll implement IPsec as a security over the DMVPN, and then we'll see dual hub concept. Now these terms you might not be understanding right now, but later on it will be very much clear. I'm just telling you guys like what are the VPNs that we are going to cover in the entire session. After that, we'll see a get VPN. Guys, the VPNs which I'll indicate, take a note of those VPNs which will be very much important according to your CCI lab examinations, and it will definitely come in your examination. It will be there. Get VPN. This VPN will be 100% in your examination. Since version 2, 3, 4, 5, I have seen this VPN is coming, and it's a new type of VPN. I don't say new, but now this VPN will get most of the places, Cisco devices, wherever they are using, this VPN will get adopted. So it's a highly implemented VPN. And definitely, if you guys are going to attend the Cisco interviews, they will ask you about the get VPN. And examination perspective, this is very much important. So take a note. After that, we'll see SSL VPN. That's your remote access VPN. These two type of VPNs are basically a remote access VPN on which we are going to perform is ASA and the router. So we have a SSL clientless VPN that can be performed on your ASA and also can be performed on the router. So according to your syllabus, it should be on the ASA and also on the router. So these things will do. After that, we have SSL full client. Full client is just like a remote access VPN. When you take a remote access and when you want to get a full access to the server or anything, in that case, full client should be used. Even your SSL VPN client, VPN clientless, SSL VPN clientless, this is also a remote access VPN, but this is without client. It's a clientless. Understand the term written here as a clientless means we are not using a client. The client means here is any connect, a software through which we connect. So if I don't use any connect software, it becomes as a clientless, in which we'll be using like browsers to connect. So browser based access only you will have over here in a clientless. We also call it as a web VPN. Okay. Cisco adopts it as a SSL VPN, but it's actually a web VPN. Now, SSL clientless or the full client, these two VPNs, 100% it will come in your examination. Guys, I'm not typing with a digital pen, so my writing might be bad, so please don't mind. I'm simply typing with my, with laptop's sensing. So here you can see these three VPNs, very much important. You will get in your examination, 100%. Work on these VPNs. After that, we'll work with IKV2. Now, what's IKV2? Those things you will come to know when you will understand the IPsec protocol. Under the IPsec, we have IKE, and IKE has two versions, IKV1, IKV2. These all VPNs which we have discussed till now, whatever I told you, these all will see with IKV1. And after that, again this IKV, again the side-to-side VPNs again will see with IKV2. Again IKV2 side-to-side between the firewall, between the routers, all those stuff will come. And understand, once you are done with the IKV2, once you'll understand IKV2, how to work on routers, how to work on firewalls, then only you will understand a new type of VPN called as a flex VPN. Now, see, the base of flex VPN comes from the IKV2 and also the concepts that we learn in IKV1. So overall, the mixed concept, let's say side-to-side VPN, multi-site VPN, right? And IKV2, side-to-side, all these concepts, when you gather together, then you'll get a single platform that's basically your Flex VPN. So in a Flex VPN, you will understand how to combine a multiple VPNs in a single configuration type. That's basically a Flex VPN. So to understand a Flex VPN, you need to understand the IKV2, which is very much mandatory. Without IKV2, Flex VPN can't be configured because Flex VPN has a minimum requirement. It works only with IKV2, not with IKV1. So these VPN commands which we use will not be used in a Flex VPN. It will have a different set of commands, but the concept will remain same. So everything is important. Examination perspective, Flex VPN, very much important. It will come in your examination. Since version 5, it started coming in your examination. Flex VPN was included in version 4 itself. Version 4 was the first version in which Flex VPN was included, but they didn't ask in the examination. In a version 5, they started asking the Flex VPN in the examination because this is the evolving technology right now. So right now in a market, they all are adapting the Flex VPN because it gives a similar platform for different types of VPNs. The similar type of commands or the set of commands to different types of VPNs. So this is one of the current VPN type which is getting adapted on the new, like on the new devices or the corporate networks, you can say. So you should be aware of, when you go for the interview of Cisco, definitely they'll ask you with the Flex VPN, not with the other vendors, but with the Cisco. This Flex VPN will give you a meaning only with the Cisco devices, not with your other vendors. In a Cisco, we used to do a multiple, we'll be doing a multiple configurations over here, different types of configurations based on the VPNs. But Flex VPN is a kind of summarized VPN for all the VPN types. Okay. Now, iOS CA server. Okay. iOS CA server means it's a Cisco router that we are going to create a certificate authority based on the certificate exchange, how can we create a site-to-site VPN? That's what we need to understand. So according to examination perspective, CA server will definitely come. When I talk about version 4, 5 or 3, CA server was 100% there, and we had a get VPN with the previous versions, version 3, version 4. If I match, these two versions are coming from, these two VPNs are coming from beginning. In a version 5, we could see SSL VPN included, this VPN. The full client and the clientless, this both the VPNs got included. Get VPN is there, iOS CA server is there. Around 20% of your examination will be covered by the VPN only. 20% of your examination out of 100%. From the VPN, you guys are going to get a 20% marks from the VPN only. In your current, I'm like the previous CCI security version examination, see how many VPNs were there. Just count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. These 5 VPNs were there in the examination. Understand 5 VPNs. Okay. Now some VPN. Now let's say if I keep a 3 marks per VPN also, then 3 5 are 15 marks. Right. 15 marks. Now in that also, these VPNs will not be independent. They all will be dependent. They can be dependent or they can be independent. Okay, I forgot to mention you this also. VRF aware VPN 6. So just understand, almost 20 marks will be there in your CCI lab examination from the VPN, and you will also have the dependent type of VPNs. You will see the SSL full client VPN depending on multiple tasks. Depending on the multiple tasks, if this particular VPN is not done, it means definitely you will fail. If you don't get the output, it means it will be depending, this particular VPN itself will be depending on like ASA, it will be depending on the IPS, it will be depending on WSA. See how many tasks are getting affected. I'll just show you one example to make you understand how important these VPNs are. From VPN, you guys are getting most of the tasks. And this task will be a lengthier task also. It means most of the configurations that you have to type will be in the VPN itself. VPN is the only module in which you have a very big configuration commands, set of commands. See guys, here I have to use any connect. From here I have to connect through the firewall, which will pass through this router through NG IPS, and through the WSA will get the access to the servers. Just understand, if you guys are not doing this task or if you are not able to do this task, how many things will get affected? If you guys are not able to do NG IPS task, your entire thing will not work. So basically what I am telling you is, be very much concerned about this VPN. It will have the dependent and the independent tasks also. Excuse me guys. Sorry. So you'll have the dependent and independent tasks also, but in a VPN, sorry guys, in a VPN, the commands that you have to type will be very much lengthier. So VPN is only a kind of the module which you'll find the commands that you have to type. I mean, like lengthier commands. If you see in your CCIE lab examination, if I show you, see how much commands were there in your CCIE lab examination only from the VPN. But I'll indicate it, it's not here. See, this is the command from here till this point, till this point, so including with including till here, it was just a part of, this selected part. This was a part of one VPN. See how lengthier task you are having. After that, this was just one VPN. After that, you will see other VPNs also. Now this is one of the VPN. IOSC is side-to-side VPN. Can you see this was the task in your examination? Now to get a 3 marks, see how much you have to type. Till here it was one of the VPN. These many commands you have to type. These many commands. You have to remember, you have to keep typing, practicing. After that you have the VRF aware get VPN. See this VPN, how much lengthier it is. If you are done with this, then you will get 4 marks. This much you will type, then you will get 4 marks. Till this point, it's just a single VPN. See how much commands you have to type. This is just to give you guys idea that which section is covering more CLI part. I'm giving you that idea. After that, let's see. So guys, did you notice out of this entire notepad, the most, the typing part you guys are going to get it is from which module? It's from the VPN module. So what you have to do, you have to keep practicing those commands. Will give you the actual command that will be used in your examinations, right? And you have to keep typing, you have to keep practicing. Make a habit of typing, make a habit of typing very fast. Make a habit of typing 60 words per minute, like that. Make a habit of typing. It's very important, guys, to succeed in your examination. Now, after September, there is a 99% chance that your CCI lab examination will open. 99% chance of security. The enterprise and all has already opened, but not in Bangalore. Bangalore center will open, okay, I guess by next September. I mean, not next September. I mean, like after this month, the examinations might open. There's full chance because according to our government, they are going to open the campus, schools. They didn't open this month, right? Next month they will open. So once they will open, definitely they will start. Cisco is already ready with the examination. So once the examination will get started, after that we'll definitely get all the details about the examination. Then I'll be sharing you guys all the details of the examination, how to proceed, how to work, all those stuff. Okay, NAT-T, it's a part of your syllabus. VRF, very much important to your examination. Overlapping, this is not a part of your syllabus, but according to your real time, it's very important. No matter you go with any vendor of the interview in a market, they are definitely going to ask you on the overlapping. If you guys have gone, especially, especially for the VPN type of the interviews, then they'll definitely ask you the questions over the overlapping. It's one of the type of VPN in which you'll get the different scenario apart from whatever we have done till now. Okay, so you'll get the different type of scenario over here, and mostly this will be used in a real time. Those who are especially working with the VPNs, they often get such type of scenarios in the real time to resolve the issue. Okay, easy VPN is not in your CCI version 6 syllabus. It was not in a version 5 syllabus also. It was only till version 4 syllabus. Now this has been removed because it's a traditional VPN type. It's an old full client VPN or remote access VPN. I have mentioned it here just for the knowledge purpose, just to make you difference why new type of the remote access VPN has been introduced and what was the lagging with the previous remote access VPN. Just to make the difference, I have given this topic over here. And after that, I'm sorry. After that, we'll also understand the SSL VPN full client. Here we'll see the full client VPN having a protocol called SSL. And then we'll see the same full client VPN implementing with IKv2, which is according to your examination. In your examination, you never know that they might ask you to implement IKv2 or SSL as a security over the tunnel. So it can be anything. So overall, I'll give you idea how to use these things. So guys, these are the total things that we are going to implement and see with your VPN module, and we'll be going through NP2IE. Okay. If you guys are done with these particular modules, then 100% in your examination, whatever the VPNC will come, it will come. You will be able to understand. Only the thing is your commands should be on your tip of your fingers. Okay, whenever they say, okay, this task means these commands, you should be able to type it. Without looking into the commands, you should remember all those commands. Okay, few VPNs which I told you, like Get VPN, Flex VPN, iOS, VRF, right? These SSL VPNs, just mug up the commands. These are the VPNs which will definitely come in your examination. I told you guys in a previous class also, 60% of your V5 version 5, 60% of your V5 tasks will come same. It will be same task in your version 6. 40% will be new things. So please focus on these things, whatever I'm saying right now. To complete this module, guys, it will take around 1 month, and we'll be uploading all the videos on the Google Drive. I'll be sharing it with you, right? And I hope all of you have the access to the labs, right? How many of you don't have your personal labs? Raise your hand. How many of you guys don't have the personal labs? Okay. Do you guys have, see, this entire lab can be done. Hold on, guys, just a minute. Okay. Guys, Do you have 16 GB RAM with you? Those who don't have their own lab, do you guys have 16 GB RAM with you? This entire, okay. Those who have 16 GB RAM, they can do this entire VPN in their laptop itself. Okay. Do you guys have EVNG set up in your PC? How many guys don't have EVNG set up in your PC? Tell me. Anyone else? Now, the very first thing what you guys have to do is to set up EVNG in your PCs. Okay. Guys, text me on this WhatsApp number, those who are not added in the 10 to 12 batch. This is my WhatsApp number, 88844490014. Text me your name and your timing and the module you are attending so that I can add you to that particular module. I like that particular timing. So keep texting me with your WhatsApp. And after that, I'll give the instructions how to add or how to configure your EVNG, everything. Okay, let's start with the VPN theoretical part. So guys, we are starting with the VPN theory. This is the first task that we are going to do. Now tell me guys, why do we need a VPN? See, what is VPN you guys already know. It's a virtual private network. It's a virtual tunnel to communicate through, a virtual path. My question is, why do we need a VPN? Tell me. You guys are free to tell anything, okay? Let it be wrong. No matter, I'll be correcting, I'll be correcting it. To connect with the two or multiple private sites over the network. Okay. Over the what type of network? Private or public network? To connect the public networks from our office. Securely transmit the data over internet. Private. Okay. Okay. Guys, take an example of any VPN that you know. In that you might be knowing that one site you have the private and the other site also you have private. Take an example of any VPNs that you know. You will find this condition everywhere. Either it's a remote access VPN or it's a site-to-site VPN or it's a multi-site VPN or any kind of VPN. At the end, you will see that you have to work with two destinations which are in a, like you need to work with the source and destination which are in the private network only. Okay. So in short, what you can say, to communicate between the two private networks, we use a VPN. Either it's a site-to-site or it's a remote access VPN or it's a multi-site VPN or it's a overlapping or it's a NAT or anything. If you see the source and if you see the destination, the actual source will be always a private, actual destinations will be the private. So to communicate between the two private networks, we basically need a VPN. Now you might be saying, in which scenario you are talking about that we need a VPN to communicate with the private networks? Now let me tell you. Let's say this is my LAN network, right? Here I have one of the LAN network. Here I have another LAN network, right? They all belong to LAN itself, or you can say these are the different buildings also. Now let's say here I have 25 hosts, here I have 50 hosts, and here I have 10 hosts. And they all are in a local area network itself. So guys, let's say they all belong to the same subnet 10.11.11.0/24. They all belong to same subnet, but it can be a different buildings, right, which is present at the same place. Now, if I want to communicate with each other, if I want to communicate with these hosts, then do you think, guys, I need any internet connectivity to communicate with each other within a same subnet? Do you need any L3 device also? Do you need any internet connection also to communicate? No, I don't need. It's it's fine that I can connect with each other without internet and without L3 device. Just with the help of switch I can connect. But I should have the switch with multiple ports. The switch with the 48 ports, I might need two switches like with the 48 ports. So I'll have 96 ports so that I can communicate, right? So basically what I told, to communicate within these private networks, I don't need any kind of VPN. I don't need any kind of internet. There is nothing required. Okay. Now I have, let's say I'm building one of my company. First of all, I had my company at one place. Now I'm opening the another branch. Now let's assume this was one of my office, which was my main branch. This was in Bangalore, and this another branch I'm opening in Pune. So here also I'm having same number of hosts, and here I might have a different subnet. Here I might have a different subnet, or it can be a same subnet as well. If it is same subnet, overlapping comes in the picture. If a different picture means a different subnet, then different concept comes. Now let's say here I have 10.12.12.0/24 as a private subnet. So guys, I want to communicate between these two private networks. One is in Bangalore, another is in Pune. And between Bangalore and Pune, let's say there is 1K kilometers, right? 1K kilometers distance between these two places. Now I want to communicate between these two private networks which are in two different locations. So tell me the cheapest way and the reliable way that I can communicate between the two sides. I don't need much cost also, and I don't need any kind of issues also. My connection should be reliable also. I should be able to communicate to both the sides very frequently, no disturbance. And also, I should have CIA to my data, the data that I'll communicate between these two branches, right? Between these two branches that I'll communicate with, I should get the output as the CIA. Now, what's a CIA? How many of you guys know what's a CIA? What's a CIA? Anyone knowing it?
Integrity.
Confidentiality, integrity, and
Authorization.
okay, it's availability, or you can say confidence means authenticity. Also, you can say okay. Okay. So basically, my data should be encrypted. That's your confidentiality, and integrity should be there to verify whether data has been tampered or not, and authenticity should be there, right? So that I'm connecting with a genuine person. in a website, in my internet, I can have multiple guys, trying to hack or trying to communicate with me as a third person. He might not be a genuine one. So how can I trust the guy to whom I'm sharing a data? There I need authenticity. So all these things will be there. If I gain all these three things, then only my connection will be secure and reliable. Okay. So guys, here I have 1000 kilometers distance between the Bangalore and the Pune. And how could I make the connectivity between these two sites? Guys, is it possible to take a wire between these two sites and make the connectivity? What do you think, guys? Let's take a wire between these two sites and make the connectivity. Possible, right?
Wire is up to a few meters, not per kilometer.
The cost will go very high, maintenance will be there. Again, the natural challenges that you will face, how much up and down you have to go through, right? And how much resources you have to go in between. If someone has stolen your wire, then what will happen again? Can be anything, right? So it's not our responsibility to put the wires, right, and to make the connectivity. That's a telecom part, right? So telecom peoples will be doing such kind of stuff, putting their underground wires and making the connectivity. So in every perspective, we are not matching with our requirement. Not possible to put the wires. Okay, so let's put the towers. Possible, right, guys? Let's put our towers, make a wireless connection, and make the connectivity between these two private networks. Again, the cost will go very high, right? Again, the same thing will come into a picture. So this is also not possible. So what can we do? We'll take a help of ISP. We'll take the help of internet. So we got an idea. It's not possible to take a direct connections and to make the connectivity, right? So we are going to do VPN connections between the two sites. Now, what are the prerequisites to go with the VPNs between the two sites? First of all, you will need two L2 devices between both the sites. So I'll need, L3 devices, not L2 devices. I'll need a L3 devices between the two sites. So I'll take two L3 devices. Now this L3 devices can be anything, guys. It can be either your firewall or it can be your router. In this class, how many of you are there who hasn't attended ASA class before? Raise your hand. Only those who haven't attended the ASA class. Harry. Anyone else? Okay. On 19th in weekend, I'm starting ASA class. Okay. 19th weekend, we are starting ASA class. So attend that class. It will be a weekend, 2 to 5 it will be. Because for this particular class, to understand the VPN, somehow ASA firewall will also be related, because we'll see the VPNs, configured with the firewalls as well. So ASA firewall is one of the basic device that you should understand before starting any modules. It's very important. Okay. No matter you have done FTD or not, but ASA, at least if you have done, it's good. Okay. And here also the other side, we have the firewall or the router that we are communicating through. So this will be your L3 device. It's your L3 device. And here also we have the L3 device. Now what I'll do, I'll connect this private network with this L3 device and connect this L3 device with the ISP. The same thing with the other site also. We'll be connecting both the sites with our L3 device, one with the ISP and another with the uh, private network. This is how we'll make the connectivity. So what I'll do, I'll put two public addresses on both the sides. Here I'll put static public IP, not the public, not the dynamic public IP. We'll put the static public IP, not the dynamic public IP. Understand? I'll tell you the reason why it's static. Now let's say here I have 192.1.20.10, and on the other side we'll have the static public IP as a 192.1.23.10. That's my public IP on the other side. So these are the two public IP addresses, and when you have the public addresses, then definitely it will be reachable all over the world, right? Public addresses means it can communicate with each other. This is ISP. You can communicate between the two, the public IPs all over the world via internet. Guys, are you understanding what I'm saying about the public IP? Public IPs, you can communicate with each other all over the world because ISP has a route for the public IPs, right? Whenever you assign the public IP, means public IP you will purchase from where? You will lease from where? From the ISP. And ISP will always have a route for the public IPs, right? So if I have the public IP at the one side and if I have the public IP on the other side, then definitely I'll be able to communicate with each other, no matter whatever it is, wherever it is. I can communicate with each other. Now, why did I tell you about the static public IP? The reason was if I have the dynamic public IP, okay, then what will happen? The IP addresses will keep changing on both the sides. If IP addresses keeps changing, then how will I come to know who is my other side? How will I fix the other side, each other? How will I fix that who is going to communicate with me? So basically in a side-to-side VPN or in other types of VPN, so you will see you have to fix, you have to tell that you are going to communicate or you are going to establish the tunnel between this particular IP, and this site will say you are going to establish the tunnel with this particular IP. So IP address will play a major role over here. IP addresses should be fixed. So always use a static public IP. Okay. Now it depends on what type of VPN we are talking about. If I talk about these, the remote access VPN, in a remote access VPN, what happens? See, this was an example of site to site VPN. This was one of the example of site to site VPN. I'm not giving you all the VPN types right now. I'm just simply telling you about what happens. Why do we need a VPN? That's what we are talking about. Right now, I'm giving one of the example wherein you will see there will be a requirement wherein you might not require the static public IP. Now, what's that requirement? What's the type of VPN? Let me tell you. Now, let's say guys, this is you are connected, you are at your home. This is my client and this is my corporate server, right? And this is your firewall or the router through which you are connecting. So here you'll have the static public IP. Here you'll have the static public IP. Now what you will do, every time when you are trying to connect to this server, you will be connecting through this public IP and you will get the reachability to your server. Now, this client will also have the public IP. This client will have the public IP and this client might be moving from one place to another place. He might be moving. Today he is in Delhi, tomorrow he is in Bangalore, day after tomorrow he is in US. You know, he keeps moving. So his IP might be changing every time because he's moving. He's not constantly sitting at one place. So he'll be using a dynamic public IP. This client will be using a dynamic public IP. His IP addresses will change. It will be a dynamic public IP. But to connect to this server, this IP address will be static, because if this IP address changes, I won't be able to communicate. I don't know what's my server IP, I don't know what's my private server IP. I'll not directly get the access to the private server. I need a method, I need a tunnel through which I can enter to the server. So depends on the type of VPN. I give you an example of a remote access VPN. This is a kind of a remote access VPN. In a remote access VPN, the client can move, but not the server side, not the firewall that is placed in the network will not be moving. So in that case, one site it can be static, another site it can be dynamic. So depends on the type of VPNs that you have implemented or you're working with. So if it is site to site VPN, then definitely both the sites you should have the static public IP. If you have a remote access VPN, one site it should be a fixed public IP, I mean like a static public IP, another site it might change dynamically. So this is why we need the public IP. Overall, the concept of the public IP is to make the connectivity between the L3 devices that we have deployed as the edge device between the private networks. Now, this is one of the private network. This is one of the private network, and we are going to make the connectivity between these two private networks with the help of your L3 device. Right here also we have the L3 device. Now, just making the connectivity between these two public networks, it's not enough. It's just a starting point of your VPN. If you have the connectivity between the public networks, now between them, what we can do, we can establish a tunnel. We can create a tunnel between these two sites if you have a reachability. If you don't have a reachability, you can't create a tunnel over here. So the very most important part between the two sites, either it's a remote access VPN, or it's a site-to-site VPN, or it's a multi-site VPN, or it's any type of VPN, guys. The first thing that you should understand is a reachability between the two sites. And how do you get the reachability between the two sites? With the help of the public address. Guys, did you understand till now whatever we discussed? Okay. Now, once we create the tunnel, through the tunnel we'll be communicating with this private IP to another private IP. Okay, let me give you an example why tunnel is required. Why are we creating the tunnel over here? Why don't we directly communicate between these two private networks? Why don't we directly communicate? I'm sorry, guys. Okay, let's see. If I put the source IP as a 10.11.11.5, let's say, for example, we are taking one of the IP address from the Bangalore, and from the Pune, I'm taking the another private IP, 10.12.12.6. So this is my source IP, and this is my destination IP that I want to communicate. So source and destination, let's try to send this packet from this particular LAN network of the Bangalore to the router, And from the router, we'll have a default route towards the ISP. Packet will go through the ISP, right, and it will reach to the destination. Right now, just assume that we don't have a tunnel. We don't have a tunnel. Without tunnel, I'm trying to communicate. So my default route will be towards the ISP, and ISP will send the packet. So when the packet will get forwarded to the ISP, what do you think, guys? The packet based on the destination IP, it has to be forwarded to the other side. Now, when this packet will reach to your ISP, do you think based on this private IP, packet will be reaching on the other side or packet will be dropped? What will happen, guys? Why it will be dropped? What's the reason? Harry, forget about the NAT over here. Give me a simple answer. Correct. See, my simple question was why private IP will not be routable or why it will not get routed. The simple answer is ISP will drop the packet because ISP does not understand the private IP. ISP never gives a route for the private IP. Why it does not give a route for the private IP? There is a reason. Now, those who understand the concept of public and the private address, they might be understanding this. Now, private means I'll be using in my private network. Now, in my network, I'm having 10.11.11.10. There can be thousands of other networks in which thousands of private networks in which they might be using this particular subnet. There might be thousands of other private networks in which they might have used this particular subnet, right? So how ISP is going to identify that to whose network do I need to send the packet? Do I need to send it to Pune or do I need to send it to Delhi or do I need to send it to US? How will your ISP identify? So that's not the way to send the packet. So ISP will never send a packet to the private IP. Never, never, never. Because ISP only works with the public, does not work with the private. So no matter wherever you are with the private IP, your packet will not get forwarded between the, I mean, like over the internet, because the destination, if it is a private IP, definitely it will be dropped by your ISP if the packet is passing through the ISP. So such a VPNs, such type of VPNs in which we have the use of ISP is basically called as a L3 VPNs. Such type of VPNs we call it as a L3 VPNs. Now you might be asking, without ISP also there is a VPN. Then I'll say yes. How many of you know the VPNs without ISP? Okay, get VPN. Forget about get VPN. Get VPN, that will come under the L3. Okay. Yeah, via service provider. Okay. You might have L2 VPNs. You might have L2 VPNs. And the example of L2 VPNs are frame relay, right? Have you guys seen frame relay in your CCNA? Frame relay, MPLS, MPLS with Atom, right? So multiple things are there where we work with the virtual type. Yeah. So there are multiple types which comes under the L2 VPN, but wherever you see the involvement of ISP, you simply take it as a L3 VPN. So these VPNs are basically a kind of L3 VPNs, which we are discussing in our CCI. It's all about NP2I is all about the L3 VPN, not the L2 VPN. Okay. And one more thing, guys. Whenever you go with the interview, I'm sorry. Whenever you go with the interview, at that time, if they are asking you how many types of VPNs are there, and you have to be very much clear, like what they are asking. In what way are they asking you, like types of VPNs? Are they asking you based on the OSI layers, based on the layers, how many types of VPNs are there? Then you can simply say we have layer 3, we have layer 2 and the layer 3 VPNs. Now, apart from this also, do we have the any other types to brief? The answer is yes. Let me tell you. We can have these are based on the layers. These are based on the layers. Now, based on uh, okay, you might have another type that's your routing based, or you have the policy based. So these are also the two types based on which you can define there are two types of VPNs, routing based or policy based. Correct. This is also one of the type you can tell. Other thing you can say based on security. Based on security in the sense, when I create the tunnel between two sites, here you could see that we created the tunnel between two sites to communicate between the two private networks, right? When you create a tunnel, over this tunnel, we need to implement a security. So what are the protocols that are used to communicate or to secure the tunnel? Now you can see the remote access VPN also. In a remote access VPN also will create a tunnel between this client and this particular gateway. So what will be the protocol used for the security between these different types of VPNs? Tell me, guys, do you have any idea what will be the protocol? What are the protocols that we use? So protocols that we know is IPsec. Jennifer, GRE is not a protocol to use to implement for the security. It is not used for security. GRE is a protocol which is used to create a tunnel, not for a security purpose. It does only a encapsulation, does not do the encryption or the hashing or anything. So IPsec is one of the protocol, and we have SSL, SSL or TLS. So these are the protocols that we implement to secure the tunnel, guys. Murtuza, IPsec, IKV1, IKV2, once you tell, IKV1 and IKV2 is the part of which protocol? It's a part of IPsec only, right? Now some of you say IKV1, IKE, you know, V2. Some of you say some of you say like ESP, or some of you say AH, or some of you say ISACAMP, right? Some of you give multiple types of protocols example, but you know what? All these protocols are basically a part of IPsec. These protocols are the part of IPsec. So IPsec is basically a suite of protocols. It's not a single protocol. It's a collection of protocols. That's what we call IPsec. So IPsec uses a different mechanisms to secure your tunnel, right? So depends how they are asking you the question in interview. If they're asking you about the protocols only, then simply say IPsec and the SSL or TLS. Now, if they are very specific that what are the protocols inside the IPsec, then you can tell about these protocols. And you can tell about the details like IKE, IKV1, IKV2, ESP, AH, ISACAM, then it comes into to a picture, but not before that. So understand, based on this security, if they're asking you what are the types of protocols, then you will answer it. It can be IPsec or it can be SSL or TLS. Again, they might confuse you, is a SSL separate, is a TLS separate, then you need to tell them. The origin of TLS has come from SSL itself. It means, first of all, SSL was created and now SSL was SSL 3.0 version. SSL version 3.0 was basically introduced as a TLS version 1. It was introduced as a TLS version 1. Okay. So this TLS version 1 is equal to SSL version 3.0. Now, whatever we are getting the protocols to implement the remote access VPN types, we basically implement the TLS, not the SSL. So TLS is the advanced version of SSL. So that's the reason why we call it SSL or TLS, not SSL and TLS. We say SSL or TLS. Okay. So based on the security, they might ask you. Now, depends. Now, in a different perspective, if we see, if they're asking you, okay, tell me based on IPsec or TLS, how many types of VPNs that we can create, or simply tell me the numbers of VPNs that you know, then I can tell, I know Site 2, Site VPN, I know GRE based VPN, I know a remote access VPN, I know multi-site VPN, and I have overlapping. We have get VPN, right? Others also you can write like we have NAT T. So these are the few types you can tell, like these are the types of VPNs that we have. Okay, so this is how you guys can understand and tell guys. Make sure when you are going with Cisco, then you will give VPN, get VPN type. Get VPN will be only used in your Cisco devices. Rest, and this GRE based VPN also will be in your Cisco only, because GRE is a Cisco proprietary protocol. So GRE protocol will not be used with the other vendors like Checkpoint, Palo Alto, or etc. So make sure these two examples you will not give when you are going with the other vendors. And if you guys are going with a multi vendors, you can give example of site to site, remote access, multiple site, overlapping, NAT. These are the common VPNs that it will be definitely with the other vendors also. Okay, so these are the things that you need to understand. So guys, is it clear, like based on the different VPN types, how can you answer the interviewers? Okay, fine. Uh, okay, we are done with today's class, but let me give you an access to the Google Drive before we end the class. All of you drop your email IDs, guys. Yeah, essay pending class will take this week. Today SRNS will be completed. After that, we'll complete this ASA pending classes. Mm, okay. All of you have given your email IDs? Okay. Timing of ASA class will be uh, 2 to 5. If there is any modification with the timings, I'll indicate in the group itself. Text me in my WhatsApp. Get connected to any one of the group because I'll inform in all the groups if I have any classes getting started. So get connected to any one of the group so that you can receive all the updates. To connect this particular group, text me in my WhatsApp number. I already shared my number with you guys. Okay, 888 444 9014. Get connected to any one of this group. I'll keep sending the updates. Just wait for a few minutes, guys. Let me give you the access and confirm me that you have received an access. Just 2 minutes. I'm managing this. Okay, all of you, please check your email IDs. See whether you have received the access or not.
Sir, hello.
Yes.
I have a problem with EVNG.
What is problem?
Sir, I can't log in from the web browser, sir.
You can't log in from the browser.
I, sir, I
Before
the
you were getting access and after that it is stopped giving you access or what?
yeah, sir, but it doesn't give any response, sir. It's simply
No,
stuck
wait,
and
hold on. First of all, what I'm asking, before you were able to get a GUI access and after that you are not getting a GUI access, right?
yeah,
Actually, your hard drive has full, means it's full. The hard drive which you give with the EVNG, that is full. So you have to add the hard drive to your EVNG, then only you will get access.
I tried, sir, but still it doesn't.
No, that hard drive basically might not be added. Okay. So do you have that right now? Can you share your screen?
Yeah,
Okay, share me your screen. So let me see. Wait, let me give you a permission.
yeah, okay, sir.
Yeah, check now. All the problems solution almost I have given on YouTube itself. Go to the CLI. Go to CLI.
Yeah.
And type the command df space minus h. df, not that. No. First of all, type df, f, dff,
DF, okay, sir.
df space minus h. Press enter. Can you see your EVNG 0% available space? Can you see? Yes. Third line. Yes.
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
you 0%?
yeah,
That's your issue. See, if you have started your EVNG before adding the hard drive, then that will not work. Okay. So what you have to do, see, follow the YouTube video from beginning itself, how I have installed the EVNG. This EV Alpha, what you're using, that's the older one, not the new one. Download the new one, install it properly. While installing EVNG, I have shown you how can you add the devices. Mostly when you implement, when you import the OVF, with OVF, pre-existing OVF, when you try to add the hard drive, it does not work. That's why I told you guys to install it from the ISO image. So see that video, how ISO image we are using to install, from where we get the ISO and how to add the hard drive. Around 16 GB, around 16 minutes video is there, right? Follow that, everything you will come to know. Okay.
yeah, okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time. Not received. Wait, those who haven't received, I'll give an access. Yeah. Arun, okay. Tools, tomorrow I'll give an access. Let me see. Arun, text me your email ID is here. Yes, Arun Sethi. Wait. Ravi. Check now. Check now. Everything is given. Subscribe it. Okay. And hit the bell icon, because I'm going to update many videos on this particular YouTube channel now. Okay. Everything is there. Okay. Okay, guys. See you.